Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgiman and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Chainsaw Man chapter 191. So, what did you think about this week's chapter? To be honest, I love this week's chapter. I think Fujimoto definitely cooked. I thought there was a lot of great revelations in this chapter, as well as a lot of emphasis on what's going to happen in the future, which is something that I know after last week's chapter, where a lot of us were speculating like, oh, what's going to happen going forward, because we saw that they were pretty much just chilling at the diner, and even I myself said like, this seems a little bit too happy-go-lucky. Something tragic's gonna go down, and something big is gonna go down, and I think something like that definitely happened in this week's chapter. Now, before I go any farther with this week's chapter, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my Chainsaw Man as well as all my anime and manga content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's chapter. So this chapter starts off right where we left off last time, which was obviously Yoshida and the rest of them in the cafe. And we see that pretty much what has happened is that Yoshida has pulled the picture out, and we see that in this picture, we see Katana Man as well as the rest of the crew that was with Asa and Fami and them that got separated. You know, the students from the Chainsaw Man fan club. And we see as they're pretty much there, we see that, you know, Yoshida, while he's showing the picture, he's like, listen, we captured them around the time where you were wrecking shop as Chainsaw Man. So I know this is not much of a bargaining tool, but we're still gonna use it just to make sure that you guys follow our commands and all that. And pretty much Denji's like, nah, that's not gonna happen. But an interesting thing to note is that, you know, while Yoshida's filling in Denji what happened, Denji finds out about, you know, while, you know, the destruction of the city of Tokyo, obviously they were fighting everywhere, how Denji was wrecking all of the public safety, how Asa was like fighting him, how she fired like a gun from the Statue of Liberty and all that. And we see that Denji's like, wow, you are definitely a crazy girl, Asa, aren't you? And this is where Asa starts beginning to laugh. And as all that is happening, we see the transition of, you know, Yoru taking over, and we see that, you know, Yoru, she spilled the beans. She finally lets the cat out of the hat, and she's like, you silly boy, that wasn't Asa that was doing that. It was me, Yoru, the war devil. I guess I might as well just tell you now. And, you know, Denji's like, what? And then she's like laughing about it. It's like, haha, you obviously didn't see that, did you? And we see that, I think for me personally, this will go down as one of the single most important moments in, you know, the entirety of part 2, because this is a thing that has been building up since the beginning of part 2 that has finally been, you know, resolved, which is, you know, Denji finding out about Yoru's true identity being part of Asa. So no longer will Denji be like, oh, was that Asa? Was that Yoru? He knows for a fact, like, hey, listen, there's two sides to this chick, and one of she's being controlled by a devil, and, you know, Yoru, you know, spilling the beans out like that makes it so she's very confident that she can get her goal, you know, of defeating Chainsaw Man. So right now, the current Yoru that we have right now, she's extremely confident that she could, you know, take down Pochita if she wanted to. I mean, we saw it happen. So I think that right now she's no longer scared, like, you know, plotting anymore. She's more like wide in the open, because she's like, I can take him out probably. I already did it once. Why wouldn't I be able to do it again? So, you know, very confident in Yoru's part. And while she's saying all of that, you know, Denji, you know, as he's shocked, he, you know, calms himself down, and then he asks the real questions, the type of questions that I myself would be asking, which those questions would be, hey, was it you or Asa the one that gave me the handy? Because that's literally what he says. And I started, bro, when I read that panel, I laughed so hard. I laughed hysterically. Fujimoto is definitely a one-of-a-kind writer. I love this guy, and this type of, you know, interactions is why I continue to love Chainsaw Man throughout it all. 191 chapters in, and I love the series just like I loved it back in the day. So consistent, you know, Fujimoto chef's kiss in this panel. And to make the panel even funnier, you know, Yoru, freaky devil, man, because she goes and says, would you want to find out which one it was that gave you the handy? And he's like, yeah, I would. And then she's like, okay, I mean, I guess you could find out. Is like, do you want me to show you who it was or something? And Denji's like, this is where Denji, oh my god, this is when the scene got funnier and funnier to me, because it's already hilarious as it is. But then we see the next panel, Denji's in all fours begging, he's like, yes, please, do it again. And I was like, oh man, listen, man, I know Yoru's a terrible person, but she enlightened Denji that day, alright? Can't believe I said that. But in all seriousness, I think this is obviously Denji down bad as usual. And I get it, you know, Denji's whole character is about lust, and you know he will overcome the horniness and all that. Don't worry about that. But like right now, he's in the moment. You know, he's like, oh man, that was great. Plus, you know, he has 2 girlfriends, man. He has Asa and Yoru now. Like, I mean, listen to me. No, but like I was saying, in all seriousness, I think, I know some people are going to get mad at that paddle and whatnot, but listen, I think this is going to serve in the future for Denji eventually overcoming that and being like, no, I don't want Yoru, I want Asa. Yoru's the one that, because she literally in this chapter just says like, yeah, I'm going to use him as like my pet, and like as my pet dog. And she even says like, okay, I'll do it again to you if you eat your own arm. And we see that Denji starts proceeding to try to eat his own arm because he wants to get a handy again. And, you know, typical Denji, man. Like, consistently, Fujimoto has written him in a way that I personally love because he's consistent. You know, many other characters would have been like, no. Denji's like, nah, man, I'm down for it. But pretty much we see that, you know, as all that is happening, you see Yoshida's like, so what is your goal? Wasn't it to make him like your weapon? Why haven't you done make him your weapon yet? And she's like, nah, I want to use him as a pet for right now because I could make him do whatever I want. Look, like easy as this. Like, look at that. He's eating his own arm as we're speaking. So I don't really need to turn him like into a weapon as a, you know, literally. I can just use him. And Yoshida's like, no, I would like you to turn him into a weapon. Like, I think that would be really, really, really awesome. And this is where Yoshida starts, you know, explaining to them like, listen, as it stands right now, you two combined could not be able to take down your older sister, which is the Death Devil, Yoru. So we really would appreciate if you turned Chainsaw Man into a tool for you to wield, because otherwise, you know, if Chainsaw Man is the same Chainsaw Man that fought you earlier, we will not win. Humanity will lose against the Death Devil. So this is a big stakes right now that we're dealing with. And as all that is happening, you know, Denji's like, you want to use me as a tool? Yeah, like that's not gonna happen, bro. I'm not gonna transform into Chainsaw Man. And Yoshida's like, you see, I want to make you into Chainsaw Man, man. Come on, transform into Chainsaw Man. And Denji's like, yeah, you killed Nayuta, bro. I'm not doing that. Like, screw you guys. And this is where Yoshida's like, hey, Denji, do you remember what we talked about in the Agent Devil's world? And he proceeds to pull out a gun. And this is a very interesting part of the chapter where Yoshida's like, listen, if you transform into Chainsaw Man, we will let you kill us. So here you go. And he gives him the gun, and Denji's like contemplating, like, what's going on? And Yoshida and Fumiko are there. They're like, yeah, man, like, go ahead and pull the trigger and kill us. Like, we're down for it. And this is where a lot of theories will start, because we saw, obviously, Fumiko did not die last chapter. So am I wondering now, like, okay, they must have a contract with the Death Devil or something that they cannot die, like, literally. Because otherwise, how did Fumiko survive that? You know what I mean? Like, so I think for them, like, oh, you can kill us and then transform. Like, we won't die, but you won't know that. That's my own theory on that whole situation. And that as all that is happening, you know, Denji pulls on the trigger. He doesn't pull the trigger yet, but he pulls the gun on them, and he's like, you bastards. Like, and he pretty much, you know, as all this is happening, we see a cake being delivered to the table, and we see, and right from the get-go, when I saw that cake, I was like, oh no, what's happening? So you see Yoru being like laughing, just like, humans, you guys are such dumb creatures that can be manipulated so easily. It's hilarious. And Yoru proceeds to throw the cake at Yoshida. And then she's like, dude, what are you doing? Don't waste food. Like, that's not right. And she's like, oh, Denji, you silly goose. I'm a devil. To me, this is not wasting food, because I don't care for it. Anyway, she pulls her finger. She goes to Yoshida's face, goes bang. And that's how the chapter ends. Huge cliffhanger. Now, question is, did she actually pull the trigger? Or is this Fujimoto trolling us like, hey, do you guys remember the last time we heard a bang with a cake? Yeah, psych, lol. I personally think that she's trolling. I don't think she actually is killing Yoshida. And even if she does, I don't think Yoshida's out for the count. I think my man is just playing possum. I think he's literally just pretending that he will die, because obviously he has some sort of contract with the devil, in my opinion, my theory. But yeah. With all that being said, I thought this chapter was amazing, and I cannot wait to see what next chapter brings, because a lot of great stuff happening in this chapter, and I absolutely loved it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next time. But with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's chapter? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys thought it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Chainsaw Man, as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.